Hello, I'm Blue, and in today's video I'll be showing you how I design characters. By the end of the video, I hope to show you key principles of character design, including shape theory, silhouettes, proportion, and color theory. But before we start, I'm happy to announce that this video is in collaboration with Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint has been my go-to art program for the last 4 years. All my pieces have been done in this art program. I cannot recommend it enough for any artists. Whether you're a beginner or a professional artist, Clip Studio Paint is packed with tools that make the creative process smooth and enjoyable. From brushes and 3D models to animation, comics, and illustration. It offers powerful tools and so much more to make the art process easier. One of the things I love the most is the interface. It's easy to use and highly customizable, allowing you to set up your workspace just the way you like it. Being able to personalize my workspace makes creating feel more personal and enjoyable for me. Though one of my favorite things about Clip Studio Paint is the brushes. You can create and customize brushes in many different ways to suit your art style. You can replicate virtually any traditional medium, watercolors, oils, inks, and if you're looking for something specific, the Clip Studio Paint Assets Library offers a vast collection of free and premium brushes, materials, and even 3D models created by artists. Clip Studio Paint consistently comes out with new features, making my art process easier and more fun. They're constantly including new tools like innovative ways to pose the 3D models and new methods to edit colors and layers, which will keep things fresh and exciting. Clip Studio Paint is available on multiple platforms like Windows, Mac, iPad, iPhone, Android, and Chromebook, so you can create whenever and wherever you want. I have it both on my iPad and my PC. I can start a project on my PC and continue working on it on my iPad, which I think is really cool. The Cloud Sync feature keeps all my files updated across the devices, which is super convenient. You can either make a one-time purchase of Clip Studio Paint on your PC or opt for a subscription-based model on iPad, Android, and PC, depending on what works best for your budget. So another big thank you for Clip Studio Paint for sponsoring this video and supporting creators like me. It's tools like these that make our creative journey possible. So thank you so much again, and if you're interested, I'll have them linked in the description. If you would like to try Clip Studio Paint out, I definitely recommend them if you're trying to get into digital art. And now onto the video. If there's one thing I live by with my OCs is be cringe and be free. Don't let your fears of cringe take away from your favorite type of character tropes and designs. It's your world and your characters, so make them fun, make them bold, and make them yours. Because at the end of the day, you're the one drawing them and enjoying them. So don't worry about if your character's personality, design, and world is interesting enough. They don't have to be groundbreaking for them to be enjoyable. One of the key elements of character design is to find an aesthetic that you like. If all your characters are set in one world, having them be similar vibe will help tie them together. Whether that be the clothing they're wearing, the technology they use, their facial markings, etc. When you're designing a character, always ask yourself, where do they live? What period are they in? What are their circumstances? What is their world like? Are they rich? Are they poor? Asking questions will help you understand what needs to be added to their character design and helps you get to know them better. You can design them first and then attach a story. This is what I do since I find it funner in this way, but that always leads to some kind of issue in the future or something that I have to change first. So if you have a world first, sometimes it's easier to attach them to the world, but that you don't always have to do that. One thing is, it is important to make sure that they fit into the world and setting you put them into. For example, let's talk about Hesper. One of my characters, he is a witch in the 17th century and is stuck in that era. His design reflects that. His aesthetic echoes his time period, and it's easy to see where he fits in. The world doesn't always have to make sense, but a basic idea is always good. So having a basic understanding of how the world works or how the characters interact with it, for example. Do they move around a lot? Are they part of a minimalist society or one full of excess? These decisions will guide everything from their clothing to their postures. Past events have an impact on how your character will act and present themselves. For example, if they have a traumatic past, that could impact how they act now. Psychology is a very insightful way to write interesting character behaviors. It also makes really cool plot devices later on in your story. It also gives sympathy and empathy to your character if they are evil or bad, for example. Now we can get into the character design principles. First, let's talk about shape theory. Shapes aren't random, they convey much about a character's personality. For example, triangles are associated with strength and danger, circles are friendly and approachable, squares feel sturdy and dependable, and so forth. So now you can use these shapes in your character designs. Subconsciously, the shapes will convey who they are as people, their behaviors, and their personalities. For example, Hesper, my character, is built on a triangle foundation. Sharp, dangerous, powerful. Meanwhile, my persona is a circle. Soft, approachable, and welcoming. Even in their facial features, the shape language persists. Hesper has a lot more sharper features to show more intimidation, while my persona has rounder, cuter features to be more welcoming. I always thought that this was just for cartoony art styles, but you can use it even for realistic art styles, or in real-life actor designs for like their outfits and such. A really good way to learn about this is to think about your favorite characters. What shapes did they embody, and do the shapes convey their personality? You can also mix shape language if your character has more depth. For example, a sharper oval, like with sharper ends at the tip, but also a round top, can convey that they're gentle, but they have a sharp edge to them. So they come off gentle, and maybe they have a bit more of like an aggressive side to them, or maybe they come off aggressive, but they have a bit more of a gentle side to them once you get to know them. Shape language isn't just in the details, it's the whole posture of the character. The way they stand tells so much about them without needing to use words, which is what you're trying to do with art. You want someone to look at your character and be like, I know that this character is sloppy or aggressive or nice. Simply by, for example, hunching over a character or giving them rounded shoulders or downward pointing posture suggests that they might be lazy or calm or aloof or carefree. On the other hand, a character who stands with their nose in the air and chest out will give a triangle shape, portraying pride, arrogance, or wealth. So shapes are in the smaller details as well as the entire posture of the character, is what I'm trying to say. When you're designing characters, you can have them in a lineup like this, and then you can like kind of start shaping them, if I can say like that. This is what I did with my characters. I designed them, and then I did a lineup, and then I kind of morphed their shape to kind of fit in like shape language. Point number 2 is thumbnails. Thumbnails are the best way to throw down as many ideas as possible and try out different clothes, shapes, styles, colors, and so much more to find what suits the character the best. Sometimes the original that you're going to do isn't going to be what you like, so if you do as many as you can pick and choose from there. My thumbnails are quick sketches, normally copy-pasted over and over, so I can make adjustments without worry. I tend to do thumbnails of their faces and their bodies with different colors and facial features, shapes, clothes, etc. until I find something I like. For these thumbnails, you can use 3D models to quicken the process, since they are mostly just ideas you want to get done. Studio Paint has lots of 3D models you can use and download and freely pose as you like. I love using the head one for quick facial features and different types of hairs. It means I don't really have to sit there and like redraw the same face over and over again, especially if it's just supposed to be a really ugly doodle. Studio Paint also has different 3D models for different art styles, so you don't just have to go for the realistic looking one, you can go for different ones. It's very useful. So this phase is all about picking and choosing. Next up, we talk about silhouettes. Silhouettes help identify a character just by their outline. This was something I didn't understand when I first started, but now I see how important it is. A strong silhouette makes your character instantly recognizable, which is important for your character to be memorable. Hesper's silhouette is bulky at the top due to his hair and his shirt, and he has skinny little legs at the bottom. His posture also plays into the silhouette. His posture is more mischievous and kind of scary, I guess. In contrast, Cage, another character of mine, has more square and rigid build to show he's stubborn. The key features that kind of show up in his silhouette is his hair and then his clothing shapes. To make silhouettes, I use a light brush and the eraser tool, and I make sure I can switch between these two pretty quickly, and then I just blotch out like a basic idea of how I want. And once I have the idea down, or if I have a blacked out version of the character, I will make adjustments to like where I think would look better if it's bigger or smaller, or what I can take away. A too busy silhouette will still take away, so try and have it like as simple and recognizable as possible. I also find it easier to design more shape and scary based characters using the silhouette method first, so before the thumbnail. I feel it helps me overthink less about the character and more on like the scariness or the shapeliness of them. The details in your characters play a big role. I for one love adding small details that relate to their theme, their setting, their world, or personality. For example, Hesper is really snake-like. Snake is like his main theme of the story. I gave him a brooch on his neck that is like snake-like. It's got the two snakes. It is also two different colors to show like he's got two personalities like inside of his body. So it's just a little detail that I put in there, but these are really fun to do. So if you have like an idea of what your character is like, you can add this into your design. Another one I did with my characters is my story's theme is chess. So I've color coded two characters, one representing the white and the other one representing the black. These small details tie them into the world and reinforce the story's theme. Now, character designs don't have to stay the same. They can evolve as your world and story changes. Time passes and no one ever stays the same, so you can create different versions of the same character. This can reflect their personal growth, major events in their story, or even a shift in the world around them. This is not only meaningful for storytelling, but also a lot of fun to explore how your environment will change your character. Let's talk about color theory. Colors are more than just, well, colors. Colors carry meaning. Colors can mean things like black can mean death, white can mean peace, red is danger, green can mean jealousy, so forth and so on. So planning the color palette according to the character's personality will make them suit their vibes. For example, my persona is mostly plain and simple, making it easily recognizable and to draw. The yellow kind of shows that I am friendly and approachable and it's a warm, cozy vibe. But Hesper, on the other hand, is represented by white and red. White symbolizes the chess piece that he is allocated to, and red is danger. Cage, his counterpart, is represented by black, which is the black chess piece, with some blue to represent his naivety. Colors can also tie characters together if they belong in a common theme. In my witch hunter designs, the reoccurring colors are red, black, and gold. So whenever you see these colors together in my story, you'll know that they are associated with the witch hunters. But for the witches, the colors that represent or tie them together is bright white. Once you've laid out the colors, let's say on the thumbnail, you can use Clip Studio Paint's color matched switching tool that allows you to go in and change the colors and gradients as you please. You can even use it with image colors or gradient maps. Gradient maps are also a great way to add detail and colors to a silhouette. I like doing this because once I have my thumbnails planned out, all I have to do is grab a gradient map, throw it on there, and then change it and see all the different possibilities that there are. One more thing I'd like to mention is that colors mean different things in different cultures, which is essential if your characters are set in a specific culture context, which is why it is so important to do research about the culture before you put your characters into them. Let's bring everything together and draw a character from scratch. Of course, before all of this, it's a good idea to have an idea of what your character is going to be like, or their vibe, or the world you want to put them into. For this character, I'm trying to design a prince who has two designs, one being alive and the other one being dead. Here are some notes I have of him in mind. He is a noble, sensitive person who cares a lot about the people around him and his kingdom. He has inner turmoils, but strives to become a just and compassionate ruler. For the silhouettes, I want his crown to be something that stands out a lot. I also want his family to be easily recognizable, so they all have to have blue eyes and blonde hair, because not a lot of the other characters in my world have this. I like to use silhouettes first, so I block out the character's general shape to get a good idea of their build and posture, and then refine the details from there. At first, he was more of a dark, brooding looking character, but I changed my mind and went for a bit more of a cheery, feminine look to kind of show that he is caring. I always like to start out with a few rough sketches. When I'm satisfied with the sketches, I start refining the design. Don't be afraid to try different versions of the same base. Experiment with poses, outfits, colors, and expressions. Clip Studio Paint has an amazing 3D model feature that can help you get difficult poses right, or if you're just too lazy like I was over here, that's why I used it. It makes the initial sketching easier and faster. I'm going to skip over the lot of trial and error here because honestly it's really frustrating and painful to look at. So I skipped over it until I had something that I liked a lot more than the previous slide. I blotched down some messy colors because I'm not really worried about having it look too neat, since this is just the character design or the initial character design. Sometimes the colors aren't quite right, so I go in with a gradient map and hue saturation color slider to adjust the colors until I like what I see. Remember to consider the character's personality, which color will complement them. Like, I really like the red that went with his cape at first, but I realized that doesn't suit his character as much as I'd like it to, so I went with a white to show more clean and elegant feeling. And this is him. I'm thinking about calling him Franz. I focus a lot more on his face design, so I think his outfit and overall silhouette is going to change in the near future. I love using Clip Studio Paint for all my art, from concept sketches to finishing a piece. I get to express my art strokes and capture so many ideas in different ways that feel good to me. So thank you again to Clip Studio Paint, and thank you so much for watching and supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!